Good evening and welcome to another edition of Kim's Corner. I'm Kim Brown, your host, and today I have with me Miss Lynda Lloyd.
Hello.
How are you?
Awesome.
Great.
Awesome.
And you know, I've been trying to get you for a while too, and if you saw my show before, I had Yvonne Garrett Moore, I've had John James on here, and we have a big election coming up in November.
Very big.
For the at-large seat, which was Donald Payne's seat, and Miss Lloyd is running for that seat. So tell us a little bit give us a little history on you.
Sure. My name is Lynda Lloyd, and I'm a proud daughter of Newark, and I'm super excited to be a candidate in this race for council at large. I'm born and raised here in the city of Newark, and I actually fell in love with civics in middle school. Can you believe that? In Camden Middle, which is no longer Camden Middle, it's like 3 schools. But I was the weird kid who knew who the mayor was and actually who the council person was as a middle school student. And so I took that energy on to Westside High School, where I became the president of the NAACP Youth Council, and I actually started attending council meetings while I was in high school and started to build community programs, and the light bulb came on for me and said, you know what, this is the way that I'm going to impact the quality of life in my community. I'm going to get involved in government. So I graduated from Westside High School, actually did an internship with Councilwoman Bridgeforth because I lived in the West Ward, and then went on to Howard University to study political science. And I still came back and forth to the city of Newark during breaks, still being involved in the community. And I also had the opportunity to work with the late Congressman Payne. And so I worked with him for 2 years, and I worked on education issues, housing issues, healthcare issues, also appropriations. And I really wanted to work with him because I wanted to know what he did on a federal level and how it impacted us here on a local level, and I did learn a great deal. So I finished up at Howard University, and I came home and I started a nonprofit organization called Young Urbanites Unite. We do social networking with young professionals, and we encourage them to mentor high school students, and started teaching, became a per diem teacher with the Newark Public Schools, work with communities and schools of New Jersey, and I also work with the South Ward Councilman Raz Baraka. And so just really involved in the community, really loving the city of Newark, and just really wanting to not just be a person who points out what's wrong and negative issues, but how can I be a part of the solution? I've always been solution driven to be involved in government and the community to make our city a better place.
So you started young then.
Yes.
You had an interest in politics young.
Yes, I did.
And you went to Howard. I went to Morgan. But I was probably gone when you
I applied to Morgan.
I was probably long gone when you got to Morgan.
Yeah.
So what is your vision for Newark?
Well, I think that where we are now is we're in an interesting place in the city of Newark. So we're growing, but at the same time we're dying. And what does that mean? Like, how could you be growing and dying at the same time? Well, there's a part of the city where development is taking place and is flourishing, but at the same time, a lot of our young people are involved in things and pretty much terrorizing the community, led by a few irresponsible adults, and it's creating a culture of death that is becoming, unfortunately, the norm in the city, and it's not normal. And so my vision is it's really important for people to know how government works. And people say to me, people don't want to hear all of that.
Yeah, they don't. And a lot of people are they've become a little disillusioned with government. We've had some people who just, our current administration,
right,
and wasn't all it was cracked up to be.
Right.
And people kind of get disillusioned, and they say, well, I'm not going to vote and that. But you should I always tell them this: people died for you to have the right to vote. No matter what. I mean, people died.
Absolutely.
And just on that, you should vote.
Absolutely. And
because you do have a voice.
Absolutely.
There's a voice.
Absolutely. And more importantly than that, not that people only die in the past to have the right to vote. People are dying right now because we are not electing the right people into office, and that's not a stab at any sitting council member, but it's bigger than just a municipal government, and people do need to know who is responsible for what and what their roles are, because you know who to take your concerns to. And so I don't want to spend the entire time educating people on the role of government, because you will have a duty to perform. But I think it's important. You talked about the administration. I think a lot of residents are so frustrated that they give everything to the council, which is the legislative body, and
Exactly.
they don't understand.
They don't understand, because really, a lot of people really don't understand how government works.
Right, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to shoo you away and not service you, but because there presently is not really a constituent services office in our mayor's office, then everything goes to the council. And so, but my vision is a city where we can have strong community empowerment, strong community development, and strong community health, and those are my platform points.
Okay. So, I'm going to ask you about education. What do
Sure.
you think we could do to better the education? First, we got to get the state out. So, what do you think we could do to better educate our children in the city of Newark?
I think that's
And our people as a whole, because, go ahead, I'll hit my next one. Go ahead.
Well, I think that's a great question, and it goes along with what I was talking about earlier about the roles and responsibilities, right? And so, as a council, because our Newark public schools are, under state control, the council does not have a direct role in education. So, Councilwoman Lloyd can't pick up the phone to Cammie Anderson and say, you better do this for Newark Public Schools. It doesn't work that way. However, what our legislators can do and use the council as a bully pulpit. So you are an advocate. Although we don't have a direct control in Newark Public Schools, our constituents attend those schools. So who controls the schools? The state. So we need to be lobbying to our state assembly people and our state senators and our governor to change the course of what's taking place in the Newark Public Schools if we don't like it. I think that
We need to
because
change our governor, too. I'm sorry.
Well,
We
again,
need to change our governor.
I don't disagree with you, but because unfortunately we're not continuously being engaged with residents. We only want to engage them. And when I say we, let me just step away from the we. Some leaders and some people only want to engage them when there is a problem. And so if you only turn out when there's a problem, if you only engage when there's a problem, then that they don't feel pressure. The state leadership doesn't feel pressure and say, oh, all they're going to do is this. We already know what their response is going to be, and we still can go on business as usual with whatever our agenda is. But if they know that the council is working together, that's important. So you and I are council colleagues. We might not get along on everything, but one thing that we should be able to unite around is education. And so there's no reason why, the council cannot consistently lobby to the state legislator, to the governor, on behalf of the residents of Newark. Why we can't council members go and testify in committee hearings, education committee hearings on the state level. Why we can't bring residents from Newark to come and testify. So we have to show strength and number in our advocacy, and it's not just the council person, right? So the council person without the community is nothing, right? Because we have our strength from the constituency. I can go and advocate and be at the mic by myself at the state and be like, the residents of Newark, they want this. But if I have hundreds of residents behind me, or if I have letters from hundreds of residents expressing their concerns, it shows strength in the numbers and that we are organized, and it's not one lone voice here and one lone voice there. And that's really what I see my role as a council person being as well, being a strong advocate and a broker for the residents of Newark, not just what happens on a municipal level, but we should be advocating as a body to the state and the federal government about the things that are important for residents in the city of Newark.
And like you said, Newark is growing in some ways and it's dying in other ways. And we've had companies come, Panasonic and Prudential is building this new headquarters here. What can we do to get the citizens of Newark jobs here?
Well, so again, just going back to understanding the roles. So the council itself does not give out jobs. But what the council does is they do agree on contracts.
And we give a lot of these people tax abatements too. So what do you do?
No. Yeah, exactly. So the council votes on contracts. And so although there is a first source ordinance where they have to hire a certain amount of Newarkers, a certain percentage, the oversight is horrible.
Yeah, there's there.
And so if you have 4 or 5 staff members, there's no reason why, if there's a major project going on Halsey Street in between Halsey and Broad, why somebody from your staff or you yourself can't go down and kind of monitor what's going on. So we have to change the culture with many, not all, but with many developers or people who who get contracts from the city that you can just come in and it's a free-for-all. Once people know that they're being watched and they're being watched closely, then they will behave as such. And so we can require that not only a certain amount of Norkers get those jobs, but how many hours are they working on those jobs? Because you could be a Norker and they could say, we hired 20 Norkers, but you only get, a small amount of work. Where people from outside, they're working more hours on the job. And so those are the things that we need to pay attention to, the specifics of the language. But that's why the council is there to read every line, cross every T, dot every I, to make sure that we are getting the best deal for the city of Newark and especially for the residents of Newark.
Okay. And what we're going to do is got to pay for this time, so we're going to hear a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with Ms. Lynda Lloyd, Candidate at Large.
Hey, better watch Kim Corner. Don't you touch that dial.
And welcome back, and I'm here with Ms. Lynda Lloyd. She's at-large candidate. Don't forget, I keep forgetting too, because of Governor Christie, we have an election in October too.
Right.
What is it? I think the 15th for the Senate, for the
16th,
Senate
yeah.
race, and then in November
Right.
he runs, and then we have the at-large seat, which
Yes.
is Donald Payne's seat, and you're
Yes.
running for that seat along with 2 other candidates.
Yes.
Now, question.
Sure.
Tell us why, John James, he got the second highest votes, and he should have gotten, democratically, he should have gotten that seat.
I love where you're going.
He should have gotten that seat in November, but, somebody, they tried some shenanigans. We all know about, what was that, November 20th shenanigans. So, you're up against something here.
What am I up against?
You're up against John James.
Well,
So, why are they going to vote for you? Why are people going to come out and vote for you?
well, let's talk about November 20th. And what I love, and I said I love where you're going with this, because I like to talk about the truth. And before I come out and make a statement, before I talk about things, I research them. I research them on my own, and then I follow up with sources that I trust, that are experts in the field. And so when it came to now Congressman Payne's empty council at large seat in the city of Newark, whether or not John James would have served in office from November to this November, it would have been a special election. So should he have gotten the seat based on a resolution? You can answer the question yourself. However, it was the state statute that says that we had to have this special election. And so I'm not intimidated at all by anybody who was in a race. One thing that we've been blessed to do is to touch this city from the top to the bottom, from the left to the right. And what people consistently say is that they don't want to be associated with anything old. They are tired of the status quo. They want to move Newark forward. This is not what Lynda Lloyd is saying. This is what residents in the community are saying. Another thing, they want to
What though? I notice people say that though, but then they do the same old thing again. And the people have to get out of that, because they say that they want it, but they don't do it.
Well, the true test of that, to be honest with you, Kim, is November 5th.
That's right.
And May 2014. And so these are, or October 16th. So we have these, she feels passionately about that, but we have these elections in place for those things to be expressed. And so whether the people actually turn out and do it or not is a different story, but I can only report on the conversations that I've been having with people, residents from across the city, from many different backgrounds. And it's important for me to do that as an at-large candidate. Newark is very, very diverse.
Yes, it is.
And it's important that myself, as a candidate, that I'm engaging all different communities to let them know that I am sincerely interested in representing them. And so the second piece that people are saying consistently is that they want more women in office, right? Right now we have one woman sitting with 8 council members, 7 other council colleagues, because there's only 8 positions filled. And women are 61% of the registered voters in the city of Newark.
And women vote.
So,
and I think women vote anyway, as a whole at large.
Right.
We vote.
Absolutely. And so why don't we have more representation of women on the Newark Municipal Council? And so those are some of the things that residents
That's
are
kind of
saying.
that old boys thing, and it's everywhere. You see it, you see it on the federal level.
Right.
You see it. It's just not enough women. That's why we're having a lot of issues with like the governor and women's rights and things like that. And we need a woman.
We
We
definitely
do. We need some
and we need
women.
more than one woman.
Yes.
Right? Why does there have to be one? Why
Yeah,
does
we
there
need
have to
some
be
women.
two? You know, but it takes some organizing on our part, and that's
Because we know what we doing.
exactly exactly. It takes some organizing on our part, and that's a different conversation about the status of women in leadership roles in the community and not just politics. The other thing that people have been saying consistently is they want to see more young people being involved. And for me, I'm proud that I've been blessed to have the opportunity to be involved in community engagement for a young age. So for a person my age, we're not going to discuss my age.
I know.
Because I know that was going to be one of your
I
questions.
was going to ask you, and I said,
but-
no, I've never asked a woman her
Thank
age, and
you.
I'm not. But I've
But-
seen you in the community, so I know that you are active in the community because
Right.
I've seen you in the community.
Right, and so I've been blessed to have a lot of these experiences young, and so we do need that voice on the council, and that's something not just young people are saying, but elders are saying to us when we're in the community, and parents. I want my children to see you in office, to see you advocating for issues that are important to them so that they know that they are important too. These are the things that parents are saying to me.
And another thing I think a lot of times is I think people hold certain offices too long, and I think you should go and maybe do 1 or 2 terms, and what we should be doing is grooming the younger people to come up so somebody else could take the helm that you could pass that torch on to. And a lot of times we don't do that because I think when you stay in office too long, I think absolute power corrupts absolutely all around the board.
Definitely. Well, I'll say that I am in support of term limits, and I would be in support of it if it came on a ballot or if it came up for discussion to be passed. The other thing is that, personally, I do not want to be the councilwoman for the rest of my life. The world is my community. I have many things in life that I'm interested in doing, but I fell in love with public policy and service as a student, and I've stayed involved in that. I've studied it. I've dedicated a great deal of my life and my time to it, and it's something that's important to me. So I would like to, even if I was a one-term council person, and I'm probably get a text message after this and say, why would you say that? Because it's the truth. If I serve for one term, but
And
I
you make
leave a
some
lasting
accomplishments.
legacy, for me that's more important to walk around than walking around saying, you know, I've been the longest
For
serving
20
councilwoman.
years, 30
you know,
years,
and that's
and
for me, my personal goal, because it's not just about Lynda Lloyd. This
Because you
election
need to serve the people.
Exactly. And this election really for us is a movement. For anybody any progressive person in the city of Newark, a young person, a woman, anybody who feels like they want to serve in this capacity, but they feel left out because they don't speak the same language, speak the same political language as other people. They don't have a famous last name. They haven't been running around in certain groups. You know, they weren't born into a certain family. You know, they haven't contributed to a certain group, and so now it's their time. That's what this campaign is about. It's about the community. It's about the people. Everybody who has a sincere desire to serve and want to be involved, they know that they too can throw their hats in a race and be successful in becoming an elected official or have a leadership position in the city of Newark as well.
So, my next question
Yes.
is, where would you like to see Newark in the next 4 years?
So the next 4 years is going to be pretty tricky, depending on where we are as a community in terms of our political leadership. But I'm going to take it a step further and not give you a campaign statement as to where I see Newark in 4 years. I would like people to understand and actualize the power that we have, because it doesn't matter who is in office. You understand what I'm saying? If we really understand the women, the power that we have in this city, young people, every movement worldwide was led by who? Young people. The civil rights movement, young people. So if people actualize and realize the power that they have, it doesn't matter who's in office. We'll be able to take the city by the helm and move it in the direction that it needs to be in the best interest for the people. So that's my vision. I think we need to build institutions that begin to set up that groundwork and formula. In terms of the government, you know, I hope we do elect officials like myself who genuinely care about the community, and when we're at the table making decisions and we're brokering deals and we're voting on things, that we have the people who we're going to pass on our way home on our minds, what we want our communities to look like. Get away from these abandoned buildings, start building more businesses, Newark-based businesses, hiring Newarkers for jobs. This is the path that I see that we can go on in the city of Newark with the right people in office, but with or without the right people in office, the residents being able to step up and demand what they rightfully deserve and play their role as well.
Okay, now I want you to look in the camera, and I
Yes.
want you to give us
It went by
mission,
so quickly.
your mission statement,
Right.
and tell us why. Tell the voters why they should vote for you as the next council person at large.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to everyone. I sincerely am honored to be in this race, and I think that you should vote for me not only because I'm a daughter of Newark, not only because I've been my entire life giving and contributing to this community, but I am dedicated to the task. And no, as a leader, I don't know everything, but I'm committed to researching, and I'm committed to serving, and we should do just like Congress. We should be in the room, close the doors. It doesn't matter if we spend days in a room until we're coming up with answers and solutions on how to deal with the proliferation of crime, joblessness, homelessness, and poverty that's taking place in our city. We have beautiful things that's taking place in the city of Newark. We need to uplift the residents, continue to promote the positive, and work tirelessly on the things that are negatively plaguing our city. And as your councilwoman, I will dedicate myself to that, things that I'm already working on now. And I think we need to have people in office who have the sincere love for the city of Newark, sincere love for the residents, and who are dedicated to service.
Okay. All right, so again, that election is what,
November 5th.
November 5th. The other election is October
16th.
16th. We come out on October 16th. You got to vote for a governor.
And it's three, I know we're
Go ahead.
stuck
No,
on
go
time.
ahead.
3 important, maybe 4 important reasons. So one, I will go on record.
Senate to October. That's what
Yes,
Senate.
One,
October.
we do need a new governor in the state of New Jersey, so we have to come out for that, right? That's going to be at the top of the ballot. The second thing is that there's a very important public opinion question on the poll about raising the minimum wage from $7.25 to $8.25, and I know a lot of people who work for minimum wage. Although $8.25 is not a lot of money, it will give you at least $19,000 extra dollars a year. So we need to come out and we need to vote yes for that public opinion question. The third reason is that you have the vacant council at large seat. Everyone is concentrated on May 2014, but November is going to help determine who the next mayor of the city is going to be, believe it or not.
It is.
And then, so those are the top three reasons why we really need to come out, not just for the council at large, which is extremely important, but we need a new governor, and we definitely need to come out for that and vote yes on that public opinion question.
Yeah, we definitely need a new governor.
She's like, we'll do nothing else. We need
Yeah,
a
we
new
need a
governor.
new governor.
I agree.
Yes. So, again, I want to thank you. I
Thank
wish
you
you
so
the best
much
of
for the
luck. I'm going to
opportunity.
have
I
you get
really
on my show. I'm going to
appreciate
try
it.
to have all three of you guys
That would
on
be
my
awesome.
show.
That'd be
And
awesome.
just before I know it's getting tight, before the election, I wish you the best of luck again.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I want to thank you for coming on Kim's Corner. I want to thank my audience for viewing Kim's Corner.
Yes.
Don't forget about the Artisan Collective, 25 Halsey Street. Come shop.
Yes, it's beautiful in here.
Lower level, right? Beautiful things, lower level. Always watch Kim's Corner. Keep the peace. And keep the peace, because it's been crazy out there. Let's keep the peace.
Yes, definitely.
Fabulous.